Hi, fifth graders. Today we're going to tackle multiplying mixed numbers. And the good news about multiplying mixed numbers is that we follow the exact same steps as we use when we're multiplying fractions by whole numbers or fractions by fractions. We're going to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. But there is one more step when we multiply mixed numbers. Because if you look at the example, 3/4 of 1 and 1/6, you can see that that mixed number factor, 1 and 1/6, also has a whole number out front. So in order to accurately solve mixed number questions, we need to start by turning any mixed number factor into an improper fraction. So let's look at that example and see how this works. First, right away, always start by turning your mixed number into an improper fraction. And this is when we rock around the clock. So remember, with 1 and 1/6, I could picture that with pattern blocks if I was modeling it as one hexagon that's made up of a bunch of little triangles and one extra triangle. And what I need to do is I need to break up that hexagon into 6 individual pieces. Then, since I didn't have just the one hexagon, I had 1 and 1/6, I also need to remember that I still have that one extra triangle, which tells me that 1 and 1/6 is exactly the same as the improper fraction 7/6. So next, I need to look at my second factor. My second factor could be a fraction or it could be a whole number. If it's a whole number, I would rewrite it as a fraction with a denominator of 1. In this case, since I have the fraction 3/4, I don't have to worry about that. So then I can start by multiplying my numerators. So I'll rewrite my problem as 3/4 times the improper fraction 7/6, and I'll multiply the numerators of 3 times 7. That tells me my numerator is 21. Next, I'll multiply my denominators. 4 times 6 is 24, giving me a denominator of 24. Just like with any other multiplication question, we finally need to look at our product. If it's an improper fraction, we should turn it into a mixed number or a whole number. If it's not, we need to look and see if we can write our answer in simplest form. I know that 21/24 is not an improper fraction because my numerator of 21 is less than my denominator of 24. So I'll look and see if they have any factors in common that will allow me to put this answer in simplest form. When I list out the factors of 21 and 24, I see that the number 3 is on both lists. So I could write my answer to this question as 21/24, or I could put it in simplest form by dividing the numerator and denominator both by 3 to get me a final answer of 7/8. Let's take a look at a couple more examples of how you would do this on paper. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a couple different examples. So in this first example, you can see that you have a whole number factor and a mixed number factor. So just like I did in my guided example using the computer model, I'm still going to start by turning my mixed number into an improper fraction. When I rock around the clock with 2.5, I do 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, giving me an improper fraction of 5/2. Now this is where in that second step, I said if you have a whole number factor, you should rewrite it in fraction form. And I know that I can turn 3 into the fraction form by writing it as 3/1. Now I can multiply my numerators. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. And I multiply my denominators. 1 times 2 is 2 to give me 15/2. I can tell that 15/2 is an improper fraction, so I'll turn this into its mixed number equivalent, which is 7 1/2. So there's really not much difference when you have a whole number factor. You'll just turn that into fraction form so that you can multiply straight across both the numerators and the denominators. Let's take a look at another example with a mixed number and a fraction factor. My mixed number factor of 1 2/3, I need to start by writing as an improper fraction. So when I rock around the clock, 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 more is 5, which gives me 5/3. Then 4/5 I can bring down so that I can line up my numerators and multiply 5 times 4, which is 20, and 3 times 5, which is 15. So in this particular answer, I see two things going on. First, I see that 20/15 is an improper fraction. So I need to start by writing that as a mixed number. That's the same as 1 and 5/15. But believe it or not, I'm actually not done yet because 5/15 is not in simplest form. I can tell that I can divide 5 and 15 both by 5. So I could write this final answer as 1 and 5/15, or in simplest form, I could write this as 1 and 1/3. So I chose this example to show you because like the very first example we did, we had a mixed number and a fraction factor, but this time we didn't just have to turn it into a mixed number, we also had to put it in simplest form. So there might be more than one step in your answer part. Be on the lookout for that. Now these next two examples both have two mixed number factors. And in both examples, you're just going to start by rocking around the clock on both of your mixed number factors. So 7.5 is the same as 15/2 times 1 and 1/6 is the same thing as 7/6, which is going to give me a total for my numerator of 105 and my denominator of 12. 105/12 is very clearly going to be a mixed number, so I will rewrite that as my mixed number 8 and 9/12. Now, just like in this last example, 9/12 I recognize can be put in simplest form because 9 and 12 both share a common factor of 3. So I could also write this answer as 8 and 3/4. Let's take a look at one more together. Again, we have two mixed number factors. So 2 and 1/3 as an improper fraction is 7/3 times 1 and 3/8 is going to give me 11/8. 7 times 11 is 77. 3 times 8 is 24. So now I have 77/24. This is an improper fraction, so I'll divide 77 by 24, which gets me 3. Since 3 times 24 is 72, that means that I still have 5 extra 24ths pieces. Since 5 and 24 don't share any common factors, I know that that's my final answer in simplest form. So the most important thing to remember when you're multiplying mixed numbers is to start by rocking around the clock. This way you can use that strategy of multiplying your numerators and multiplying your denominators to get your final product. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to do more of these with you.